It's ironic that the sun isn't out today. That's because all season long, the sun has been shining bright on the Richland Bombers softball team. Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Explore Richland. I'm Mark Ingham. Spring sports are coming to an end, which means the cream of the crop are getting ready to slug it out in the state tournament. We are at Richland High School, where the #1 softball team in the state has one thing on their mind: bring home the first softball state championship in school history. Well, joining us now is Richland Bomber head softball coach Casey Emery. Casey, thanks so much for joining us today.
You bet. Appreciate you guys being out here.
You bet. Now, Casey, this is the 16th season you've been here at Richland High School.
Yes.
We know the record. We know the state ranking. But this is a team that graduated 10 seniors from last year's team and only returned 4 starters. So how much of this season was maybe a surprise, and what were your expectations coming into the season?
I definitely say it is a surprise. I mean, anytime you can go 22-0, at this point of the season, it probably is a surprise, right? But only having 4 returning starters from last year's team, the expectations probably weren't quite near that high. I mean, we knew we had some good players returning, but we knew we had an uphill climb. So expectations, we weren't real sure yet.
Okay, great. Now, your team has performed at a very high level this year. In fact, you've scored 226 more runs than you've allowed this year. What do you believe the strength of this team is?
Probably our balance. We have good pitching, a really good pitching, good catching, hitting, good team speed. But I think that the team chemistry that we've got really helps this team out a lot. They stand behind each other, they help each other, we don't have team issues, and then that helps out, practice and then game situations as well.
That's great. Now, Coach, maybe you can help me out, because I've always felt like Steve Kerr has the easiest job in the world, right? Coach the Golden State Warriors. So maybe you can help me out. What are some of the challenges of coaching a team that is this good?
I don't know really how good we are yet. We beat some teams by a lot of runs this year. I don't know if that means that we're really good, or maybe the league's down a little bit this year. We'll find out. I think we've got a pretty good team, but we'll find out a little bit more as we go through the next 2 weeks.
Perfect. Now, Coach, you've completed MCC play. You're gearing up for the state championship, state tournament. Does anything change for you, philosophy-wise, for just preparing, getting ready for these games?
The only thing that would change is based on our scattering reports of the teams that we're playing. Our preparation might change a little bit, but we kind of just do the same things. Maybe try to incorporate a little bit change, because practices get a little bit mundane and stuff. But we just kind of then direct our approach towards our opponent a little bit, as far as what we know about them.
Great, perfect. Now, later on in this program, we're going to hear from 2 of the senior leaders on this team. But looking through the stats, I noticed that you're getting some monster seasons from some underclassmen. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about junior Addison Pettit. I'm going to look here, because she hit .695, 4 home runs, 35 runs scored, 52 RBIs. What has Addison meant to this team?
Those are incredible numbers, right? There's not many that do that, right? First, let me just say, she is the most humble kid you would ever want to be around. Nice kid, but you put her between the white lines on the field, and she's tenacious. She is a competitor. Those numbers, the reason she got those numbers a lot actually is because of the players that we've had here before. The April Utechs, the really good players that have been mentors. Stephanie Merwin, they both went Division I. They worked hard off the field to be, outside of practice, to become very good. That Addison carries that through.
Hold on. That's pretty good.
Junior Kaylee Northrup. She comes from a great lineage of Bomber athletes. Currently, right now, she's 15-0, struck out 83. That's over 1 an inning. Again, what has Kaylee meant to this team?
She's been our workhorse. She's pitched almost every inning of every game, and if she had her way, she would pitch every inning of every game. She wants the ball. She wants to go compete. And the thing, too, about her is we're going to have her back next year, along with Addison Pettit, who you mentioned earlier. So we're blessed to have both those kids in our program. Those 2 have played softball together since like the age 9, and they just continuing now here at Richland. So yeah, we're blessed. We really are.
That's great. Coach, how much fun are you having coaching this group of girls?
You see the smile, right? I mean, even over practicing the other field. Ecstatic. This is just a great group of kids. The chemistry is second to none. In my 16 years, we've had some really good teams that had really good chemistry. This one probably is equal to or better than any. So it is easy to come to practice every day.
And Coach, this is a program that has experienced a lot of success recently. In the past 6 years, you guys have placed 3rd in state 3 times and 2nd once. But I want to know, what's it going to take for this team to bring back Richland's first ever state softball
Boy,
championship?
Mark, if I had the answer to that, I have about 6 trophies right now, right? We try to figure that out. We make the state a lot. We haven't brought home the big trophy yet. Like you said, we've been there knocking on the doorstep a few times. It's going to take a little bit of good fortune, but I just think that our preparation and just keep on doing what we do. As you might have mentioned, we are a fairly young team because of all the seniors we lost last year. So I think if we keep our nerves and not get too nervous while we're over there and play our game, we should be fine. I think we're going to be good.
Coach,
okay.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We look forward to following you in state and wish you nothing but continued success this season.
Very good.
Well, joining us now is senior shortstop Emily Garza. Emily, thanks so much for joining us today. Emily, now you enjoyed a monster season at the plate this year. I'm going to read your stats. You hit .566, 1 home run, 42 runs scored, 35 RBIs. Amazing. How proud are you with what you were able to accomplish this season?
Well, it's my senior season, so I really wanted to come out and help the team as much as I could, knowing that this was it. This is the last hurrah. So I just knew that if the team could help me behind me with getting on base, I could get them in and just keep getting hits and getting on for my teammates to hit me in also. So
congratulations on your season. I do want to ask you about the team. What were your expectations for the Richland Bombers team this year?
Well, graduating 10 seniors, I knew that there was going to be a lot of holes. I mean, our whole lineup was kind of messed up already, so I knew that everyone was going to have to pick a role and do it, and so that's what we've been doing ever since the season started. I mean, we're undefeated right now, and so everyone's doing their part in making this team win, so I hope it just keeps going.
Joining us now is senior second baseman Sydney Perryman. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes,
you enjoyed a monster season at the plate. I'm going to read your stats off so I don't mess it up. .436 batting average. You clubbed 2 home runs, scored 44 runs, and stole 24 bases. What goals did you set for yourself going into this season?
Going into the season, I just love base running. So I hit to get on base, and I make sure I can go around the bases as much as possible and score some runs for my team. So that was one of my main goals.
Oh, that's great. Now, what goals did you set for this team headed into the year?
As a team, I just wanted us to go undefeated, which we are so far. And more than just wins and losses, I wanted us to play as a team and support each other and have each other's backs.
Emily, I wanted to ask you, what are the pressures you believe that come with being the #1 ranked team in the state?
Well, when you're #1, everyone expects you to, come out as #1 also, get the state championship, but the pressures from everyone, from school, friends, family, everyone expects you to be #1, and so every game you have to play up to that. So you have to be #1, you have to play the best, no mistakes.
It's super exciting, and you hear everybody talking about it, everybody at school, everybody in the Tri-Cities knows about it, but you have to take it with a grain of salt. You have to know that you still have to go out there and play your best every game. Like you saw at the Hanford game, it got a little close, and we had to come out and play our best regardless of the ranking.
I'm sure you're in tune with history, but Richland Bombers, although you've had a lot of success, you guys have never won a state softball
been
championship.
Really close, never won.
Yeah. So, what do you feel like what will it take to bring home Richland's first state softball championship?
I just think everyone needs to play their best. I mean, we've had games where in postseasons we've had slumps and stuff, but I think if everyone just plays together and our chemistry's going and everything's positive, that's the main thing.
We have to play all of our cards right. We all have to be perfectly prepared and get the reps inside and outside of practice and play as a team when we get there.
That's awesome. Now, you're a 4-year starter for the Richland Bombers softball team. Obviously, in your senior year, what are you going to miss most about playing for the Richland Bombers?
There's a lot I'm going to miss. I love the whole town that loves coming to watch, and I love the coaching staff at Richland High, and I'm going to miss my teammates. I played with Emily Garza since 7th grade, so we're going to miss being side by side on the field.
Oh, the teammates, my teammates. I'll miss playing side by side Sydney. I mean, we've been playing forever since we were little, and she's my best friend, but I'll miss the coaches also. They're not just coaches, they're like having 5 dads. I mean, they're just awesome. They talk to you about anything, schoolwork, family problems, anything. I'll miss the coaches and teammates for sure.
I'd like to thank Coach Emery for hosting us this episode. We had a fantastic time featuring his softball team. The state tournament for 4A softball and baseball begins May 24th and runs through the 25th. The women's softball tournament is held in Spokane at Merkel Stadium, and the boys baseball tournament is held right here in Pasco at Garza Stadium. Now locally, it was a huge year for our sports team. On the baseball side, the Hanford boys and the Richland boys both made the state tournament. Congratulations to all our student athletes. Now, if you're looking for more information on anything City of Richland related, I strongly encourage you to visit us on our webpage, which is located at the link below. And don't forget, we are where you are. Find the City of Richland on all the popular social media platforms. I'm Mark Ingham. Thanks for joining me on this edition of Explore Richland.
Good job, Jenna.